And are we streaming?
Yep.
All right, you ready for me to go?
Go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the State of the Xbox Empire. This episode will be focusing on the Forza series. So we know it has had a new episode of PSVG's State of the Xbox Empire, and that is because we have one and Mr. Donnie Reese joining us again, the co-host with the mostest, the co-pilot, if you will, the one in the passenger seat this week. Donnie, what's up, man?
How you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. We are very, very, very close to the full release of Forza Horizon 4. I have it installed on my Xbox One X downstairs. It is also installed on my PC, so I am good to go, good sir. I've also been streaming viewing nonstop on Mixer, so I can get those influence points because I don't know what they do, but I have over 1 million now.
You get to spend them all in that game. That's good stuff. See, they got you. They hook, line, and sinker. They've got you.
Well, I mean, of course, you want all the influence you can get in everything you do, to be honest.
Sure.
I mean, and to have the most influence you can have in Forza Horizon just makes the most sense to me. Now, I believe that the influence is going to be how fast or quickly you can unlock the different aspects of the race and progress. So I think that it'll just help in the progression of the game itself. I don't think there's anything that we can actually spend as a result of this, but I could be mistaken.
Do you feel like you're cheating yourself from the experience of playing the game and unlocking it all just by having it given to you for lurking on Mixer channels?
I do not feel at all cheated or like I am cheating because I'm going to play the heck out of this one way or another anyway. I just want the full experience to the max, Donnie, to the max. But this is going to be a good episode because I've been excited to talk about Forza Motorsport. And honestly, talking with you about Forza is actually a pretty interesting concept because it's a racing game, Donnie. Did you know that?
It is, yes. I am aware. I don't do much of that. I'm not even sure how it's done or where you go to do those, but I am aware that people race cars in that game.
So, Donnie, how is my memory correct in thinking that Forza Horizon 3 is your first real entry into this Forza universe?
100%. I have never played, nor have I ever, until PSVG, until discussing Forza Horizon 3 with you, I had never played, not even for a moment. Not a free game with gold, not a free trial, nor have I ever considered or possibly contemplated ever buying that game. Ever.
But what was it about Forza Horizon 3 that made you realize that it was Donnie's game and it wasn't just a racing game?
Yeah, it was the way that you were talking about it and the way that I'll never forget Mo talking about Forza and Forza Horizon 3 when it came out. And I believe on one of her episodes, I don't think the OT was going at the time, but on one of her episodes, he said something like, you can get your tricked out Lambo and all this, and, you think you can be great, and I'm just going to smoke you in, like, my 4x4, because, while you're driving down the street, he's going to cut in half. And I was like, what is this game they're talking about? Like, it sounded fun, and then, it was all of the Game of the Year talk, Sean Capri's of the world, and people on Twitter. I mean, there was just a lot of buzz for it, and I was like, there's no way a racing game is the game of the year. The people that I didn't even think were like just true Xboxers. That was the other part. I was hearing it from folks that I normally just wasn't, to play with Coach Mo a little bit. He just kind of trumps for the Xbox flag at times a bit, and
He bleeds green.
He does. So, there's certain times I'll hear him and I'll go, that's Mo being Mo. And then there's other times where I'll hear him and I'll be like, that's not Mo being Mo. And just all of the buzz. I got caught up in this buzz. I got caught up in the spectacle. And I don't know. I was like, you know what? I want to see what it is they're talking about. And this is the one game. I mean, I've been turned on a lot of games like Far Cry. I never played Far Cry until this year, and I played Far Cry 5, and I loved it. But this is the one game that like opened me up to a brand new series. Like I'm not certain I'll buy the next Far Cry game at all. Like that'll determine on the environment, the setting, the villains. Like I'll be interested, but I am not sold on that. I will buy Forza Horizon until further notice. Like I'm in. Like I'm totally in. I've got Game Pass forever, so I've got Game Pass Infinity. So I'm just guaranteed to get the next Forza Horizon game. Now, that's different than the motorsport game. Once I enjoyed Forza Horizon as much as I did that first time, I did try the motorsport game and I was like, nope, not nearly as fun. And I bounced. I bounced in like maybe I may have played it an hour. I played it like maybe an hour. I was like, nope, nope.
Well, so I want to backtrack a little bit because obviously you started your journey with Forza Horizon 3. Did you go back to Forza Horizon or Horizon 2 at all?
I went back to Horizon 2 when they dropped it on Games with Gold and they discounted all of the DLC because, we're coming up to Forza Horizon 4. I was like, man, this is fun. Like, I want to play it. I've been waiting for so long. I hadn't gone back since the Hot Wheels expansion to Forza Horizon 4, and I just didn't want to go back to it. And that's the other thing. You played Forza Horizon 3 for like 100 hours or something like that?
Yes, I did.
So I played it, and I mean, that's something Dev always brings up because I've been talking about how excited I am for this game. It's not like I played it for 100 hours. I played maybe 25, 30 hours of Forza Horizon. Like, I unlocked all the festivals. Like, and that was all I wanted to do. And that was fine with me. I don't feel like I got everything I wanted. I bought the DLC. I did Hot Wheels. One thing that I really enjoy about Forza Horizon is, like, my son plays it with me, and he played the demo, and like he very much likes it too, so we kind of play it together, and I get a lot of enjoyment out of that. He's in on the formula, but knowing all that, I wanted to go back to Forza Horizon 2 since it was free. Why not? And I like free, added to the library, and I played around with it for, I don't know, maybe a weekend, day or two. I was like, this is good. I definitely was like, it's not as good as Forza Horizon 3. It's like, because obviously they took that next step. I felt that jump. It just didn't, like, the tone was right, but it didn't feel as big and as as expansive, and like all the options and all of the fun car shenanigans that I get in enjoyment. I get enjoyment out of sending you guys clips of me running your Dravatars off the road and stuff. Like, these are the things that make me happy. So the Forza Horizon 2 felt more like a racing game.
Yeah. So let's just kind of backtrack with the series as a whole here. So I know you jumped on later in the life cycle of the series, but me, but I have been in there the entire. Oh, Siri's talking to me now. I want to go turn her off for a second. I got the new iPhone. It's trying to tell me to do stuff. I don't know what's going on here. So we're talking about Forza, and I've been in here since the beginning, since the OG Xbox days. I had Forza. So Forza Motorsport was fantastic. If you remember, back in the day, there was Project Gotham Racing, which was a great racer back in the day. Then Horizon kind of picked up a little bit on that, or sorry, Motorsport kind of picked up a little bit on that after that series kind of turned down. But it was just a really good racing game, And the funny thing about racing games is they're pretty consistent. There's never been, at least for Forza, in my mind, an entry that is a backstep or that is not at least as good as the first, or the one that's previous. So you can't say that with like Halo 3, Halo 4, Halo 5. You can't say that the next one is always better, but you can, at least in my mind, with Forza. They just improve on the graphics. They improve on the textures. And better. Yep, they improve on the feel of the car. And when you think about the feel of the car, translating that into the controller and really understanding how it feels to brake and accelerate and grip those curves, I mean, that is a marvel.
It's something, I'm glad you brought that up because it's something that I've been trying to persuade Seth about since experiencing it for myself. It's hard to put into words how it's different, but it's different. It's not like other car games. I've played other car games. You're right. It feels different. Like the way the car feels in your hand. When I was playing the demo, I was streaming it, and Dev came through the stream. Dev's being Dev, and he was like, This just looks like a pretty car racing game. And I was trying to tell him the exact same thing. I was like, this one feels like you feel it. You feel the rumble in the car, like the engine, the traction is felt in your hands. It's a feeling. It's not a there's not like something on the screen telling you to do something. You feel it. And like more so than any game that I can remember this generation for sure, this thing gets me leaning. I'm like, no, too fast, and that's something else. And it's that feeling. You feel it. And it's the thing that's strange is it's at different times I feel like I feel different things. When I'm on the street and I'm going, I feel like I feel the engine. But in like Forza Horizon 4, especially in the demo, I feel the traction. Like I feel my car is slippy. It's like it's not as tight on ice. Like I feel it. I don't see it. I feel it. And it's like you almost feel like I get to the point where I was trying to grab a controller. I get to the point where I notice to myself like I'll call it like I'll feather the brake. So I'll just like tap it and like flutter versus hold. Feels like a hard brake, and like that's a feeling. That's a tactile thing. There's nothing telling me to do that. I don't know. It's a strange thing. Like the cars feel like they have weight. Like you can. It's almost like I can predict how it's going to go. I can know if I'm making that turn before I even try.
And like if you're turning too fast or too hard too, because your car starts to lift up a little bit.
You start to cringe. You're like, oh no. Yes, exactly. That's exactly how I feel.
And every car has its own weight, its own difference, with the way it feels. When you're with Forza Horizon, you have like the trucks, and you have the cars that are a little top heavy, and you have then the cars that are a little lower to the ground, the roadsters. And they definitely both feel different completely when you're racing them around corners or over hills, off-roading or on-roading. And then you have the Warthog that got introduced in Forza Horizon 3. And I mean, they are so faithful, to real cars and all the physics that they have in the real cars. When they added the Warthog and when they added the Hot Wheels stuff, it's just like, yeah, I would buy this. This is how this would actually control if this was in real life. You know what I mean? But
one of the things that I learned playing Forza Horizon 3 for a long time, and I believe Mo told me this, is I learned very early on I prefer all-wheel, four-wheel drive cars to two-wheel drive cars. And, like, to say that out loud makes me sound like a gear nut or something, and I'm not. I couldn't be further from the case. I've played Gran Turismo, I've played Need for Speed, I've played racing games. I've never really cared. I picked which car I thought by which one I thought looked cool. Typically, I'm a muscle car guy. But I've never felt the difference between one car and the other. But in Forza, I absolutely do. I was going to do that demo, and I played it with the Chevelle. And as I'm streaming, and I pick the Chevelle, I go, "It's a bad choice. I should have picked the Audi.
Too much torque in the back."
It's like this is gonna be awful. And I think for the first 3 races of the game, I'm constantly like, I should have picked the other car. This is bad.
I mean, I'm the same way too. Like, I really prefer racing with the all-wheel drive cars because of the traction that you get and that grip that you get on the road. I mean, especially with these off-road type games, when you're on the road, sure, a rear-wheel drive car is probably going to get you better because it has that better torque, that better momentum on the back. But when you're going off-road and just moving around, I mean, I own a four-wheel drive, or rather all-wheel drive car in my Subaru that I actually drive around, that I own. And so I always like, getting the Subaru Legacies, or Legacies don't make it in there, but like the Imprezas and stuff like that make it into these games, and being like driving those around because it feels like, yeah, I mean, I love driving around the McLaren F1. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that's a fantastic, amazing, gorgeous car. But at the same time, it's like, if I can get a car that's a facsimile of what I have and what I drive around in, I mean, that's kind of cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna go and, when I'm driving to work the next day, be like, brr, brr, but it's gonna be like, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, this is actually real. This is how this feels. This is actually really cool because you can compare it to your real life experience in that car too. It's just fantastic. I feel like there are geniuses over at both Turn 10 and Playground that have made these games and have figured out a way, like we talked about earlier, to make you understand how a car just feels. You don't even have to look at the screen, to be honest. I mean, you can just listen and feel that controller and know what you have to do. So, like, gear shifting and just control on the road, and it's so it's a technological marvel. But again, we are looking at the Forza series as a whole, and we start back in, like I said, with the original Xbox, and that was in 2005. And here we are now in 2018. We're having the you could say the 11th or the 12th entry into the series, because some people count Apex, some people don't. But there was Forza Motorsport, and then there's been 7 of those, and now we have the 4th Horizon game. And Motorsport is made by Turn 10, so that was the original series that came out, and up until 2012, after Forza Motorsport 4, they introduced Forza Horizon. So, a lot of people were like you, Donnie, and they didn't really find a lot of joy or fun driving the simulator type racing, which I loved it. I mean, I'll be honest, driving the sim racing got me into the series and got me going with it. And there was a legitimate racer on the console comparative to Gran Turismo, which I played before as well.
Sure.
Because I've always been a car guy.
They're super popular. Like, there's no arguing that. They sell well. They're super popular. I get that. I don't mean to demean the motorsport thing, but you're right. It's not for me.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean it's definitely not for everybody. I mean it's more for those who want that sim experience. And there's a very niche audience out there, but it's a very loyal audience that it's like the people who buy Madden every year. They buy the new Forza every year.
Yep.
I mean they may not be the people who are out there talking online about how great it is or fantastic. They're playing it and enjoying it and putting their money into the game because that's where it's at. So obviously, we know that this is a series that's been successful for Xbox and for Microsoft, that they've continued on for 12 iterations now. That, there's not many game series that are that long that are kind of the same lineage. When you look at Assassin's Creed, I mean, I think that's pretty close. But to be honest, I think Forza Call of Duty. Call of Duty is probably up there. It's probably up there too. But
Madden and all the sports
franchises. Oh, Madden for sure. Yeah. But there's not many, that can say that they have that same lineage from 2005 until now. I mean, that is 13 years of racing games. It's outlasted a number of other, competitors that have come and gone, like Grid, or what was that? Rockstar made one back on the original Xbox. It was good, but I can't remember the name of it. Midnight Club. They made Midnight Club.
Yeah, I like Midnight Club. I forgot all about that.
That was a great game. I mean, Burnout has come and gone since then. Unfortunately, I mean, there's a lot of great stuff about Burnout that I really loved too. Like Burnout 3 Takedown is like the quintessential amazing racing game before I got into Forza. But there's been a lot of that come and go, and when you look at the longevity here, it speaks to the track record, if you pardon the pun, of the just the pedigree of what we have here. And what's interesting to me, Donnie, is that when I said Forza Horizon 3 was a Game of the Year contender, and a lot of people also echoed that as well. I mean, you as an outlier, we'll say a racing outlier, were like, no, this is a car game. It's a sports game. Sports games don't qualify for Game of the Year type games.
They have to be exceptional. You're right.
Right. And it's one of those things where I'm trying to preach the good news. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm trying to say this is a game that is more than a racing game. You can demean it by just saying it's a car game or whatever, because it is. However, how many car games do you know where you can just drive wherever you want to drive to, listen to whatever you want to listen to when you're driving there, have some fun conversations with the Anna assistant?
I was going to ask you if your iPhone could do that. If you could swap Siri out for Anna.
Probably could. Race people just at will. See your friends' drivatars just running across the map with you, bashing into you in the games. Tweeting them later, be like, "Look what you did to me." Just the engagement that it has, and then it pulls in. Oh, and not to mention all like the RPG elements where you can level up and you can earn all these different perks. I was going to say,
one of the things that I love about it is it doesn't matter what you're doing. It's actually like one of the big things I love about it. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You're always progressing. You're always doing something. If you just do donuts in a field, you get points for that.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Like,
there's
I don't know
always
how many.
meters and things and buzzers going off, and like things are
Uh-huh.
always happening.
That's the thing that keeps it going, right? It's just it's a rewarding game. There's a lot of games where you have that reward loop or feedback loop, and this game just kind of perfected it in a way because I don't know how many times I've just had like 15, 20 minutes and I just want to hop in and race. But I don't actually end up racing. I just do like you say, I go into a field and do donuts and do jumps and just do things and watch my get a wheel spin and then I'm ready to go. It's such a game that's accessible in a way that you don't have to know the next story. There is no plot really. I mean, there is in a way, but you don't have to worry about I forgot what happened 10 hours ago. No, I mean you're just building this festival up. You're doing these races, and all the other stuff's kind of ancillary. But the mechanics that they've developed is just that's where it's at. I mean that is just where it's at.
It's the perfect hangout game, and it's one that I am
Yes.
quite fond of, like listening to podcasts while I'm playing.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do that quite a bit, and I'll just jam, or I'll listen to music, my own music, or the music in the game. The music in the game is fantastic, but a lot of times I'll listen to PSVG or the Xbox Drive or something like that while I'm playing Forza because you can just chill, and it's so, like you said, it's so rewarding. Going back to your legacy on the franchise, I was doing a little studying here, and I looked up the series on VG Charts, which tracks physical game sales. It looks like all of them from the 360 generation on have at least sold of 2 million copies or higher, not counting digital sales.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know that Halo 3 like did some big numbers.
Oh yeah.
You could potentially argue that Forza Horizon might be Xbox best series. Like it's definitely a tent pole. It's definitely like the Forza brand is definitely should be considered, like when you think Xbox, you should think Gears, Halo, Forza. Like it deserves to be said. It's a tent pole of the company. Like they have a huge fan base here. And you're seeing Forza Motorsport 3, over 5 million copies, over 5 million for Forza Motorsport 4. Like these are just car games. And I know car games always sell well. Gran Turismo had great sales too. But I mean, like that's big for something especially annualized. Because Forza's annualized. We get one every year.
Right. I mean, when you look at the Forza series, it has grossed as of December 2016. It's made over 1 billion US dollars.
That's big.
That is big, and there's been over 14 million unique players who have played on Xbox One as of that same time period. So, kind of you compare that, it makes it a big game. Like you said, it's on that list of the most highest grossing series. And there's actually a list here that is compiled of that. I'm not sure if it's on here, but like the number one, it looks like is Pokemon. I didn't know that.
That sounds right. People are always every time I ever talk the series of Pokemon, like people are shocked at the numbers of Pokemon does.
I mean, I guess you got that Game Boy, that mobile thing that was whole there. But it's interesting to see how this series just continues on because, like you said, it is one of those games where it's a tentpole, and there's a celebration. I mean, I don't know if you've realized it or not, but in the spheres that I'm a member of, like in Facebook and Twitter and things like that, and whenever I watch the press conferences and stuff, I always like am shouting from the roof when I see Forza, and just. People were always just, like, oh, they're going to bring a car on the stage.
Car out on stage.
Right. And that's just kind of what they think of when they think of it. And it's one of those things where it's like, come on, you guys. If you guys don't appreciate the artistry, like you always say video games are art, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we all do, and they are. But if you don't appreciate the artistry that they bring to the table in these games, you're just not looking hard enough. You're looking with your eyes closed. I mean, you're not even wanting to pay attention. You'd rather play PUBG or Fortnite. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely appreciate, now that I guess I've been baptized in the ways of Forza, I definitely do
Preach
think
it,
I have some appreciation for how far they try to take the visual fidelity. I mean, it's like this is their prove it title. This is the one where they show off a bit. Every year, I'd liken it to, it's kind of like what Sony does with a show. Like everybody knows the show is going to be at their E3 every year, and people can groan. They'll bring a player out or whatnot, and you may see a car, but there's no telling. There's no denying that everybody gets a little excited when they see just how freaking good the game looks. You know,
Hmm.
like I remember. You remember there were rumors over the summer that Forza Horizon 4 was going to be set in Japan. I
Yeah.
did like an entire podcast topic on how exciting that was. I was excited about what Forza might look like in Japan because of how good how good it looks. You know, like you don't
Hmm.
get that with other games. And again, the fact that it's like you said, split between two studios, but they hit you every year over it, and it just gets at least this. I'm not a huge fan of the motorsport games, but from what I've seen and from what other people that play them, I mean, it just keeps better and better and better and better. You got to think Xbox feels a little proud of that. Something
Oh
they want
yeah.
to show.
Hmm.
They want you to see it. They want to throw some weight behind it. You have to.
And then talking about something that they want you to see and show. So with Forza Horizon 3, we know that that is the latest entry as of now. We got a couple more days until 4 is out. Um, but they went back and put the Xbox One X enhancement on that. They made it so it
Oh,
looks even better on the Xbox One X, and it does. I mean, you drive around those tracks, especially the Hot Wheels stuff. It just looks phenomenal. And Forza Motorsport 7, they also featured that release around the same time frame as the Xbox One X did, and it was one of those flagship show it titles, like you said. It was one of those things where you'd want to put it on and people can see just how
yeah.
gorgeous 4K is and 60 frames per second. And the weather, they started dabbling with that and just how good it looked and how they could pull it off. And now with Forza Horizon 4, I mean, they put that all together. You got 4K and 60, I believe, at the same time, with the weather effects, with everything going on. And it just looks fantastic. And another thing, too, that they introduced with Forza Horizon 3 was the Xbox Windows 10 crossplay stuff, the Xbox Anywhere. So if you owned it on Xbox and Windows 10, you could go back and forth between the two because you bought it digitally, had it on both places, and you could also play with people that were on either console, either on the console or on the PC. So they started that crossplay there, and that's carried on since Forza Horizon 3 through Motorsport 7, and it's going to continue in Forza Horizon 4. I mean, this is just one of those things where they innovate. They continue to, Microsoft does these initiatives, and with Game Pass now, they they fully support, the Xbox Play Anywhere and the Game Pass initiatives, and everything that they do is implemented in here as well. But let's talk about that for a second.
I was just about to
So
ask you. I don't want to go on my Game Pass rant for 10 minutes, but
we've done that before.
you have to think that Game Pass could be huge for a title like Forza.
Hmm.
It's got to be getting Forza into the hands of somebody that'll try it that would never pay $60 for Forza.
And that is exactly the mission of Game Pass, in my opinion. Game Pass is that service that's just cheap enough that you can take a flyer on it and you can just throw $10 at it a month or whatever. If you get it for $30 for 6 months, and you can say, I'm just going to try this, just to try some games I wouldn't ever try. Like I've done that before. I tried some games, and some are good, some are hits, some are misses. But you have a game on here now, like Forza Horizon 4, and we have a lot of people that, like you say, don't play racers and don't care about racers, but there's enough conversations that have surrounded the Horizon series in the past where they might be, let's check this out. They load it up, they understand just how fun it is and just how good it is. That is a Game Pass flagship title. I mean, you can say Sea of Thieves and State of Decay 2 were the first party titles that came out there, but no. This is the first major release, in my opinion, for Game Pass. This, like, if you don't own Game Pass by the time that this game comes out next week officially for the majority of the population. The standard release is next week, or well, as we're recording this, sorry, it's next week. For those that are watching live, but this is a reason to at least try it for a month. That's $10. That's a rental, and you can play through this for 30 days, as well as, I mean, all the Halos. All that great content that's out there now. I don't want to go into Game Pass rant, but I'm starting to. But it's just one of those things where if this game does not solidify Game Pass in every gamer's mind, gamers just are shutting it down without realizing what they're doing. You know what I mean?
And that's okay. Everybody has the right to make their own decision. But
Oh yeah.
I think you're spot on. For $10, considering that you can do it if you have an Xbox, you can do it if you have a PC. Like Game Pass isn't relegated to Xbox. You can you get Game Pass for a month and download it to your PC and play it. That's a win-win. Like there's no down on that. And if you like it, you can keep Game Pass, or you just go buy the game. I remember that was with State of Decay, and there was charting for a while. And Xbox was like, yeah, we've got people that are playing on a Games Pass as a trial. Like they're picking up Game Pass to try it, and then they're buying the game. And that's crazy. I'm like, why don't you just keep Game Pass? But, to each their own. But, I've got to imagine that this could be huge for Forza. And it could be huge for Game Pass, because this could be, the ringing endorsement that Game Pass needs. You may hear people, from next month going forward through the holidays, just give me Game Pass. Just get Game Pass. Let's give people Game Pass. Hey, you're looking for a holiday idea? Buy somebody Game Pass. They get Forza for free plus all the other stuff. That's a good sell. So
it's one of those things where it is definitely, you're looking for something for a gamer. I mean, you can't go wrong buying someone Game Pass. I mean, it's something they could stack onto it if they already have it, or if there's 100 games there. There's something for everybody to play. But talking a little bit about the Horizon series again, so with Forza Horizon 2, there was a DLC that came out there called Storm Island. That was that first kind of concept, and they wanted to do the expansions to kind of, see what they would do to add more environmental effects in there. And so they brought out the Storm Island content, which was really fun, really cool. Forza Horizon 3 then decided, you know what, we're going to up the ante a little bit. They brought out Blizzard Mountain at first, which was really fun, driving around in the snow and the ice and just kind of seeing what everything was there. And they changed the tires, or they changed the car so you could put tires on there for snow and things like that. So they had that. It was really fun. I enjoyed it. I always joked with Sean Capri that now I can drive in Canada. I've been certified because I played the Blizzard Mountain in Forza Horizon 3. But they really knocked it out of the park. I mean, when you look at Forza Horizon, it was already a fantastic game. They decided, you know what? Let's take it up a notch, and they did release that Hot Wheels DLC. We've mentioned it a little bit. When they announced that they were going to release Hot Wheels, I think everybody was taken off guard. They were like, "Wait, what?" What did you think? Because you had started playing at that point, and you heard Hot Wheels was coming out. What did you think?
I mean, we bought it instantly. I knew I was 100% getting it for my son. He loved every bit of it. I didn't really grow up with Hot Wheels. Like I said, I've never been a car guy. It's just not my thing. So, like, the Hot Wheels brand wasn't necessarily something I was interested. The wacky craziness that they added to the Horizon game, like, that was an instant sell. Like, it took a 7-second GIF showing, you driving a Lambo through a Hot Wheels loop, and you were like, yes, oh, I'm in. This is going to be crazy. And it was. It was just as crazy as it sounded. I mean, it kind of added a wacky kart racing element to this, tricked out car game. It was crazy in all the best ways. It was arcadey, and it was fun, and it was fun for everybody. And you could use Hot Wheel cars, or you could use regular cars. It was kind of like, let's bring all these different people together. Like, we've got all these people that play Forza for all these different reasons. Let's all give them one reason to play together. And yeah, it was a blast. We had a blast for, I'd say, maybe about a week or two. My son played it like almost religiously every day for about a week or two before we finally tapered off. But it was worth every bit. It was awesome. It was really fun. It's like this spectacle, and that's what you want to play video games for. You want to be awed by what you're looking at, and that did it.
I mean, the first time I went around a loop-de-loop in that car, just like getting forced like on the little speed bump things, and it's just so crazy, amazing.
Fly across a lake with a Lambo.
Yeah. That in itself could have been a game. Just a $60 title with just that Hot Wheels content, and I would have been fine with that. But it was just an expansion to this already fantastic game. And, they took these real-world cars and put them on these racetracks, and it was just the ultimate experience. They had the dinosaurs and stuff in there, and it was fantastic. So that leads me to my question, Donnie. Is looking at what they've done in the past with these expansions. We know that Forza Horizon 4 comes out, and we're going to be set in Europe, and we're going to be driving around, and the wrong side of the road, there's going to be sheep and goats, and we're going to need to think about what we want for expansions. We know there's going to be at least 2 expansions that come out. That's already part of the season pass, or the Ultimate Edition has 2 expansion slots. Expansion slots, kind of a weird thing to say, but anyway, what would you want in those expansions? Thinking like now, nothing is off the table. What would you want?
I feel like I'm the worst person for this question. I was going to say, they announced that you guys are getting, at least you are. I'm not getting the Ultimate Edition, but you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting the James Bond cars.
Oh yeah,
that's a pack. You get to the Aston Martins and all that. That's freaking awesome. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun. I want to do that. I want to drive as the James Bond car. And I'm not enough to buy the Ultimate Edition, but I want to do it. If they could lean into that, I'd be down. There's a Halo mission, right? That's voiced by Cortana. Mm-hmm. Any more of that, like any other Xbox brand awareness that they can do to cross tie that, like I'm all for it. I think that could be a major boon. That could bring a lot of people into Forza that aren't giving it a chance. And as much as that they can do, in one of the games, I think the first time I ever heard of Forza on Xbox One, maybe it was a motorsport game. Didn't they bring in like Fast and the Furious cars or like a whole separate thing?
Forza Horizon 2, I think it was. They had a free game that had, a couple hours worth of content that they put out to kind of publicize both Forza Horizon 2 and Fast and Furious. And Ludacris was like your spokesperson through the game. And so he was the one that was telling you where to go, what to do. And you were just doing you're driving the different cars from the different folks in the movie around the tracks. It was fun.
Any of that stuff I think is great. Anything that they can do to get awareness of the game, I'm down for all of it. But the fact that it's set in Europe makes me think that they'd want to go to some sort of, I don't know, like old school car racing, F1, like, I don't know the car stuff, but like the drift stuff, all the movies and stuff like that, something like that, some, toward something that they could loop in and maybe turn it into like some sort of history lesson. I'm not sure how far they'd want to lean into that. I'd rather them do something more like crazy and arcadey like the Hot Wheels stuff, but they're real big on showing you just how beautiful this engine is and how beautiful the countryside is, and I don't know, I'd expect them to lean into that, but they could come out with just another Hot Wheels thing, Hot Wheels Pack 2, and I'd be just as happy. What do you think?
So here you kind of alluded to one thing that I would think would be really cool is if they make like a world of Xbox.
I'm down for this.
So they take part where you're running around, then you're on a Halo ring racing around, like the end missions of those, driving a car around one of those end missions. That would be fantastic. Or they make it so now you're running through or driving through the streets in Gears of War and all this stuff's happening around you and you just got to drive through. Or, and Ori kind of just pops in there and you're all of a sudden in a 2D thing trying to race through this thing.
That would be hilarious. I would love to see Forza just give me one 2D spin-off level for like 2 minutes.
That would be great, right?
I would scream. I would scream out loud.
I mean, if they could lean into just the world that they have in all these different Xbox franchises, revive some of the old ones like Crackdown, or
Nathan,
we could do Mech Assault.
Nathan,
we could.
What if they released an expansion pack that let you race around a pre-build of what Albion will look like?
That would be great. Well, we do know.
I know
that there's cohesion here. Because
what if they were just like, here's kind of what we're thinking about the game looking like, and you just get to race one race through the visual aesthetic that they are thinking for Albion. It kind of matches the countryside thing. They're just kind of cartooning it up a little. Dude.
Forza in Albion. The Albion expansion.
The Albion expansion. I'd be so excited.
So, I mean, you do something with Xbox, do that. That'd be really cool. The other thing that they could do, because, kind of leaning maybe a little bit more on the real world side of things, is I do think that it'd be neat, and maybe there would lend some merit to this whole Tokyo thing, is if they do a pack in Tokyo. Why not? I mean, I don't know if you would be able to set a whole game in Tokyo itself, but Japan could probably take a whole lot of that stuff. But you just do Tokyo, and you have drifting, and you have all the other kind of stuff just there. I think a lot of people would really enjoy that as well. So give me a World of Xbox and give me a Tokyo.
Tokyo Nights Drift expansion.
There you go. That sounds good to me.
Nice.
So, I mean, when we look at Forza, I mean, there's a lot to say about the number of cars that each game had and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, each iteration gets better. So, like right now, if you're more of a sim racing fan, Motorsport 7's where you want to be. Or if you are more of a well-rounded, I want to experience all kinds of just craziness and fun stuff and race planes and boats and all this other stuff, then you want to go to Horizon, because they have all the crazy fun stuff there. The set pieces that they come up with on Horizon games have always been fun and great to play. So it's really a good experience there.
The jets.
Cannot... Yeah, the jets too.
Gotta have the jets. I was gonna say, we kind of hinted at it, but if anybody's joining us for the first time, Nathan, he kind of pointed fun at. I don't really race. Like I race in Horizon, like the least amount that I have to. I race to expand the map, and that's it. Like I don't complete all the races. I don't try to first all the races. I don't try to outpoint any of my friends in the races. I'm literally just here to open up the rest of the map, because Forza Horizon is a racing game that has side quests.
Mm-hmm.
And the side quests are so much fun. You have
jumps. Stuff.
You have jumps that you have to measure how far your car flies.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to hit it at
speed traps.
You have to hit the jump at a certain way, and there's always it's never a straight on jump. It's not what you're thinking. It's on the side of a hill somewhere around trees that you've got to funnel in and out of just right. And you've got to find a car that's just light enough to get the gold star to move forward. You've got speed traps that measure how fast you go from point A to point B. They're not all straight lines. They're around curves or through gravel. If you try to hit that thing in a Lambo, you'll go spinning sideways. It doesn't work. Signs to break that are on top of buildings and under bridges and in the dark, in the depths of farms. And then my very favorite, hidden garages that you just have to go drive and find. It's just so much fun. You just drive through the game, get to see all of the detail that you miss while you're racing, because all you're looking at is the road ahead of you. There's this massive game all around you. You get to take all that in while you go look for some secret barn that has this freaking awesome car in it that you can't get any other way. I do all of that stuff. That's how I unlock my festivals. Me and my son sit here. I listen to a podcast. I put on music. We jam to I always say Coachella. Horizon has this Coachella vibe. It's this music fest. Everybody's coming around. There are balloons in the air. There's parties. There's confetti. There's jets. It's this very trance hipster scene. We jam to the music and we just drive around and we find barns and we smash signs and we do speed traps and we just do all that stuff. And that's a blast. That's the game. That's the gamification of a racing game that you just can't find anywhere else. There are pieces of it. There are pieces of that in Burnout, the crashes and stuff like that. There are pieces of it, but there's no experience like that. And that's that total experience. That's that. I don't feel like racing. Well, then I can't play this game because all you do is race. Well, in this game, that's not. I don't feel like racing today. Go smash signs. I don't feel like smashing signs anymore. Go jump cars. Go do races. Go do speed checks. They have drift competitions where you just hit a corner in the mud and see how hard you can hold it, and they're hard. I barely get 3 stars on all of them. It takes talent. So in the demo, I was telling Sean Capri, I spent 40 minutes on a jump in a field. I couldn't 3-star. I tried with every car. I just kept doing it over and over again, listening to the music, just totally for no point at all, because it was fun. Because I was having a blast. That is my hook that I found with Forza Horizon that I've never felt with another racing game ever. And that's why I'll continue to keep playing it.
Nice. Well put. So to put a bow on our Forza Horizon and Forza just chat here, there was a pretty cool booth that I went to when I was in Microsoft. about a month or so ago. I went out to Microsoft when I was out in Seattle, and they have this Forza Motorsport station set up there where they got this chair that rumbles, and they got the steering wheel and this amazing 80-inch 4K curved QLED display TV. So it just looks fantastic. So I got in there. You could sit down, and it felt like you were racing this car. Like just the way that the wheel and the chair and everything interacted and just moved around and just cushioned you and moved you the way you were moving on the track. It was fantastic. I highly recommend if you're in the Seattle area and you have the ability to go check out the Microsoft. I think it was the Visitor Center that had it. Go do that, because even if you're not a racer, like there were people there that were definitely not racers, or just very casually observing, and then they would get in and they would just have a blast. You could see the look on their face. They were just they were enthralled by what they were seeing and what they were doing. So anybody that just has any sort of drive, pardon the pun, to get that adrenaline and just wanting to experience it, it's such a great game. Even if you can't make it to the Microsoft experience, if you just play it on your your TV at home, it's going to look great. It's going to feel great. Like we said earlier, that the feel of the controller in your hands, it's amazing what they've done. It's a marvel.
And I got that new Elite controller.
Yeah, you did.
Just for it. Yeah, it's so good.
It's going to be great. So that's a bit it for our Forza chat here. But Donnie, we are now, as we record, September 24th, on the precipice of the October 2018 release time frame that has a deluge of games continuing to fall upon us, starting with the official release date of Forza Horizon 4 is, I think it's October 2nd is the official release date. Like I said, with the Ultimate Edition, I get it this week. Haha, yay!
That's correct. Yep.
So Donnie, I want to know, what's your plans on Xbox in October?
So my plan uno, was to play the next chapter, an installment in The Walking Dead final chapter. Which the next one is comes out tomorrow, and it's got great reviews. I'm not going to play it. I asked for a refund after all.
Is that season or episode 2?
Yeah, episode 2 comes out tomorrow. Has great reviews. Everybody's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe they're not going to finish this game." Now they're saying that they might finish it. Which is, talk about a bizarre, strange thing to say. They fired all of the employees without severance, like the people that make the game that we know, and then they just put out this cryptic message: "We're working with people to try and finish the game." How?
I would wonder. So
you're gonna have other people that have never worked on the game before finish the game? Do we want that?
I don't know if I want that.
Do we want?
But one thing that you could do feasibly is you could finish it in a comic book form or graphic novel type format, just to get the story done at least.
That's not a bad idea. Although they said we're working avenues to release the final 2 chapters of the game. Stay tuned. They're trying to, apparently the way that they made it sound, apparently somebody came forward and said, "We'll pay for it." But it doesn't like they're going to pay for Telltale to finish the final 2 chapters. Somebody, I don't know about that one, man. Maybe they already have the story done and they just need somebody to, I don't know. So I was going to do that, but I'm not.
Is Batman: The Enemy Within coming on Switch next week still?
Yes.
Okay.
I will be doing Doltnod's Life is Strange 2, which is one of my most anticipated games. I believe that comes out 28th. And then that brings us towards a game that I'm really hoping a lot of Xbox listeners give a chance to. Hollow Knight finally hits other consoles and hits PlayStation and Xbox One October 1st or September 29th or something. Hollow Knight is one of the best indie games I've ever played. It has amazing graphic, art, and design, music, tone, setting, everything. It's a Metroidvania. It's really hard. I'm not good enough to beat it. Jason beat it. I can't. I tried and I tried. I put 8 hours trying to beat this boss. I can't do it. I quit. I quit out of frustration. I enjoyed every bit of the game to get me to that point. I would love to tell you I'm playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but I'll be playing Forza, which will get me to Red Dead Redemption. So, I mean, eventually I will get to Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I know you loved Origins. I think Odyssey looks more I don't know, fun. Like I feel like they could do a lot more with that than Origins. But I mean, it's not like Origins lacked for content. God, I didn't beat Origins either. The game was forever.
So good.
I played like 30% of that game. Feel like I did nothing. Like my map was just littered with stuff to do.
Wow.
And then I mean, yeah, I mean, I know Mega Man comes out. 2K comes out. Like all of the sports games are coming. But really, the big one is Red Dead. You know, Red Dead Redemption is the game that I'm looking forward to playing most on my Xbox. Coming soon. I want to see all of the horses and horizons and vistas and everything and as many Ks as they can bring me to. I'm so excited.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
For me, I still am hoping to beat Shadow of the Tomb Raider before Forza comes out. I'm still not very far. I think I'm 11% complete last I logged in there. I had just gotten to that. I'm not going to say it. I just got into a spot where it kind of changes, I guess, a little bit. So
That game is utterly gorgeous.
and I agree. It looks fantastic. I'm looking forward to getting that completed and understanding the story and just I enjoy the Lara Croft games. They're pretty good. So I'm looking to complete that before October 2nd, when Forza Horizon 4 officially releases. So I'll be playing it beforehand.
Got to clear the decks.
Yeah, I mean, but Forza and Tomb Raider I can kind of do hand in hand. If I get tired of racing or I get tired of raiding tombs, one or the other, I can go back and forth. So they kind of complement each other. It's not that bad. But I'm looking forward to Assassin's Creed Odyssey, as you said. I'm not like as super pumped on this one as I was for Origins because, like I was spoken about before, the setting with Greece is cool. But for me, I always really enjoyed the Egypt setting a lot better. That's what drew me in.
It hasn't been done
Origins.
as much. I feel you on that. Like the Greek thing has been done a lot. I understand.
Yeah. So I'll be getting that. That was one of my things. Like before I lost the Best Buy Gamer Club Unlocked, I just like pre-ordered like everything.
Yes.
Just like
Yes.
just in case I wanted, just in case I don't. I don't know. So I just pre-ordered everything, which is going to be terrible by the end of the month. But anyway, so I also have my eyes looking towards Soul Calibur 4 or sorry 6. I've always enjoyed the Soul Calibur series. This one has Geralt in it, so I'm even more interested from The Witcher. So I'll be. I think I pre-ordered that on a whim too. I might cancel that just because it's one of those games where I feel like I could wait until Black Friday and get it for really cheap. So that comes out on the 23rd. But then on the 26th is the Megaton Red Dead Redemption 2. You notice I didn't mention Black Ops 4.
I was just about to say, neither one of us are playing Call of Duty. That's interesting.
So here's my thing with Call of Duty. I have not played a Call of Duty. I think I tried Ghosts. I've never really... I don't know. There's just something about them, and I've never, ever, ever, ever enjoyed the multiplayer side. Just people that play are way too good, and I don't have time to mess around with that. You know what I mean? And this one is completely multiplayer. Now, I heard from Kevin that he really enjoyed that
Everybody does.
their PUBG mode.
Everybody loves
the Battle
it.
Royale. So it makes me think I might at least have to rent it to try it. But I can't see myself buying it just because it's multiplayer only. I mean, it's a game that I would probably play, but I don't want to buy it. You know what I mean?
You know what you should do with me this month? You should play Infinite Warfare with me. Go get that game and play the story.
I have it.
You haven't played
somewhere. I have it, but I haven't played it because Infinite Warfare was the one with Kevin Spacey, right?
No.
Advanced Warfare.
That was Advanced Warfare, and I like both.
Okay.
To be clear, I like both. But Infinite Warfare,
because I have both of those, but I haven't played them.
Infinite Warfare is my favorite Call of Duty game I've ever played. Now, I'm not the series homer that Mo is. I always feel like I have to say that because if I don't, he'll hit me in comments in our Discord for a week. But I have played most of the campaigns for Call of Duty. I did play them every year. Most times it was my favorite shooter. I really love the campaigns. I think gamers throw stones at Call of Duty that they don't deserve. When it comes to production values and set pieces and moments, like, it's hard to beat Call of Duty. Like, they do it. They ramp it up big time, you know? Like, when they set the stage, it's always very epic, which I really do enjoy. Infinite Warfare has one of the best campaign stories told in a shooter that I've ever played. I mean, like, game of the year contender type stuff. It wasn't my game of the year, but it was worth mentioning. It was up there, and I loved every bit of it, and I'm glad people are excited about the new Call of Duty and them doing that thing. I mean, I didn't play Call of Duty for that. I never played multiplayer like you. I liked zombies, but not enough to pay an entire game full of zombies. Mm-hmm. So this month, when I get done with Forza, and before I play Red Dead, I'm just going to play through Infinite Warfare and maybe pull out the zombies mode in it. The zombies mode in it was awesome. It was 80s themed, and it was all like neon synth and zombies, and it was cool. I'm just going to play through that story again, because that story, it's got robots. Nathan, you go to space. I think the Mass Effect fan in you will really like it. It's really good. Like, the characters, for the first time in a Call of Duty game, the support that characters get extend beyond like 2 or 3 people. You get to know a lot of people, like a good 8 to 10, and like 3 or 4 that mean a lot to you. And I mean, I don't feel like I'm spoiling the game, and I don't think this will ruin your appreciation for it. At the end of the game, that runs through a list of like people that died in combat, like not like credits, like characters. And like for the first time ever, like I felt something when I saw that. I was like, that's right. That sucks. She did die. And like that just goes to see how far like they got you kind of invested into some of the story that was being told. I really enjoyed it. The final act is really good. Kind of like Spider-Man. The final act in Infinite Warfare make the journey, all of it. Like it's worth playing.
Cool. I'm looking forward to that for sure, because you know, when you think about the reliving the games that you have there in between there, and just listening to you talk about that just makes me like excited for you to play it, and I listen about it, but maybe not necessarily play it with you.
I'll stream it. Maybe you can watch me play it.
That'd be great. But I did want to mention too that, you know, I mean, I don't know when the next episode was going to post after this one, but I did want to mention briefly Extra Life, if you'll permit me a minute, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, dear listeners, you all know that we have a Make Us Better team over for Extra Life this year. You can join the team over at extra-life.org/team/MUB for Make Us Better. And you can hop on there and join the team, be able to raise some money for your local children's hospital. This is for the kids. It's a great way to be involved and to show that gamers care. That's why I do it. I enjoy being able to say that I've helped the kids a little bit, and also hop on streams and talk with some people and do some crazy nights of gaming that never seem to end, because when 4 o'clock comes around and the sun still isn't up and you're like dead tired and you're like, how many hours do I have to go? And someone hops in like Donnie and keeps you going. It's fantastic. So if you can't do your own event this year, at least stop by my stream. I'll be streaming over at mixer.com/SpiderJedi. And you can also go out and check out my page individually for my event. And that is at extra-life.org/NT for Nathan Thomas, my initials. So please help the kids. Let's help the kids. I'll probably be playing some Forza on my play stream. I mean, that's pretty much a given.
Forza and Assassin's Creed.
Forza, Assassin's Creed, possibly. I might be done by then. Maybe not. But Red Dead, I'm sure, because that comes out shortly before. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the October releases that we mentioned there. I'll have a lot of those that I'll probably filter through. And if you want to choose a game for me to play, you can do that over on my Extra Life site. Go check out, and for certain donation amounts, I play for a certain amount of time. You can choose any game. It'll be fun. I mean, even PlayStation. I got my PlayStation hooked up right here. I streamed a heck ton of Spider-Man. That's just a fantastic game.
It is.
That's for another day, another podcast. So, Donnie, any final thoughts for this month's episode?
No, but you did mention something about picking a game for folks to play, and I have this idea that I've shared with Kevin. I think I'm going to stream live on Halloween trick-or-treating. If the weather permits, I think I'm going to set up a table and a TV in my driveway, and I'm going to pick a game to stream with the webcams as people just come by the house and get candy. and like maybe they can hop on a controller and play with me. I haven't picked my game yet. I don't know if I should go like scary because of the mood, or if I should go something fun and multiplayer that people could literally pick up and put down like as they stop by.
Could you do like the Plants vs Zombies type games, or
Maybe.
maybe like the Zombies mode, Black Ops, or
That's
something
what
like
I
that?
was thinking, like something
Like
zombies
that.
mode, something that people could pick up. I was thinking PUBG or Fortnite, like those are pretty quick and people like them. They're probably, and I'll probably just do a bunch of different stuff. But if anybody out there makes it to the end of the empire and they wanna pitch me an idea. Let me know at Playing Nintendo over on Twitter. Drop by our Discord, the Make Us Better Discord. You can find a link on our website, psvg.blog, and just let me know. Because I think it's a kind of really cool idea, and so does Kevin. Like, I don't think I've ever seen anybody do it. I'm not saying I'm originating anything, but it'd be kind of cool. It's kind of, community centric and oriented, and people could have some fun, and I could have some fun, and yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, I'll be in costume, of course. It's Halloween, so yeah, take it up a notch.
You should do it. I was thinking when you first started talking about it that you're gonna like go door to door and stream that.
Oh,
Because I mean, you totally could with the Mixer Create app
that's
on
creepy.
on iPhone. You could do it. Just go walk around your streamer, your YouTube star. That's your character.
Ugh.
So anyway, you mentioned the Make Us Better. You mentioned your Twitter. So you can find me on Twitter. I am at Voiced by Nathan. You can also find this show at PSVG Xbox Empire. We invite you to hop over there and talk with us. Because Donnie and I are both manning that Twitter handle. So if you want to talk with us jointly, just send us an opinion over there. Tell us how right or wrong we are about Forza, Halo, and all the things in between. So for this month, that'll do it. This has been the state of the Xbox Empire.